Do you like to burn your cash? Enjoy feeding money to garbage disposals? Well, boy, do I have a deal for you. It's called Batman Escape from Arkham Asylum, and it is being crowdfunded on GameFound as of the time of recording. If you want to throw your money into a trash fire, by all means, make a pledge. For everybody else though, if you've got money invested in this right now, then if I were you, I'd go to GameFound and remove the pledge. At the time of recording, there are only a few days left, so you don't have much time. And before we go any further, I just want to say that I can't believe I'm having to make this video. This is so absurd. So Batman Escape from Arkham Asylum is a board game that is currently being crowdfunded on GameFound, basically a Kickstarter equivalent by our old friends over at Night Games. You might not know who Night Games are, I don't blame you, but they are a sister company to Night Models, a company I've spoken about on this channel before. They're also a company who create a bunch of miniature war games, and they've been around for 20 years or so by now. Now I say that Night Games are the sister company to Night Models, but they are basically the exact same studio. The difference between Night Games and Night Models is academic. Night Games seem to be the division that handles all of the crowd-funded board games, and Night Models deal with the miniature war games. I'm going to use Night Games and Night Models interchangeably in this video because they're basically the same people. Now, one of the big selling points of this Batman Escape from Arkham Asylum game are the hundreds of miniatures that are being sold for the game. They look fantastic. They're really beautiful sculpts as far as we can see in the renders. I'm a Batman fan. They look good, okay? Wear my Batman t-shirt and everything. Now, that's not a huge surprise though, because Night Models are the developers of the Batman Miniatures game, a separate game from all of this. It's more of a skirmish war game and also has a ton of beautiful Batman miniatures designed for it. So clearly the sculptors of Night Games / Models are well versed in the Batman universe and are used to sculpting for this IP. Now, one of the major selling points of this board game is that the miniatures are going to be compatible with the Batman miniature game. They're going to be the same size and scale, and Night Models have said that the models can be used as cosmetic skins for the Batman miniature game. Personally, I know a bunch of people that are buying into the Escape from Arkham Asylum game because they want to use the board game miniatures in the Batman miniature game. Okay, now I want you to remember that. Put a pin in it. We're gonna be coming back to that. Now for a quick pivot. We're zooming back to 3 years ago when Night Games kickstarted a game called Harry Potter Catch the Snitch. Yes, that is a real board game name, not a sex act. And I can't believe this. I went back to the Night Games Kickstarter account to see when that game was kickstarted, and this is literally what I see. Okay, so let's restart that then. 3 years ago, Night Games tried to kickstart a Harry Potter board game called Catch the Snitch twice. The first time they tried to kickstart it, it totally failed. You can see the pledge amount that it ended up on here before they threw in the towel. That's only £48,000 pledged with a goal of 333,000. So basically they got nowhere close. Yikes. Now, Night Games at the time, when they cancelled that Kickstarter, they said that they were delaying the Harry Potter campaign because of the US election, which makes no sense at all because Night Games are a Spanish company based in Spain. The actual common consensus amongst the community at the time, as far as I can see, seems to be that the board game was overpriced. Also, the preview models for the game that had been sent out to YouTubers to show it off for potential backers were apparently of poor quality and arrived with breakages, which obviously didn't encourage a lot of people to back the game. But anyway, they relaunched the Kickstarter for the Harry Potter Catch the Snitch later that year with a cheaper core box, and it was filled with miniatures, and they were off to the races. The game met its goals, and it was crowdfunded. Huzzah! And then it was delayed. 4 years. Ultimately, they've only started delivering the game now, this week, and I don't think we should really hold that against them much because honestly, in the intervening time, there was a pandemic and a major war in Europe, so fair enough. Delays are to be expected. What was not to be expected, though, was what happened next. See, just like the Batman miniature game, Night Models are also the developers of a Harry Potter miniature game. This is a skirmish war game just like the Batman miniature game. And as part of the marketing of the Kickstarter board game Catch the Snitch, Night Games had told the Harry Potter minigame community that the board game miniatures would be compatible with the mini game, that all the minis would be the same scale and you could play with both of them together. So yes, they made the exact same claim as they are currently making for the Batman board game and the Batman miniature game. Now then, imagine the surprise of the community when the first boxes arrived to backers this week and they got this. It's tiny Hagrid. Look how small he is! That's right, the new board game has arrived with all the new miniatures, and it turns out that the board game miniatures are a completely different scale from the miniature games. Where the mini game has 35mm scale minis, the board game looks closer to like 28mm minis. Regardless of the actual numbers though, it's totally off. These are meant to be compatible, apparently, but obviously they're not. As you can imagine, there is a sizable proportion of the Harry Potter miniature game community who are losing their minds. They are alleging that Night Games lied during their marketing of the Harry Potter board game, and there's also talk of getting in touch with anti-fraud consumer groups in Spain. And yeah, I get the anger. This is a group of people who each paid like $200 each and then waited for years to get boxes of models that aren't fit for purpose. Now, here's the thing on all this. If the models weren't going to be the same scale as the Harry Potter minigame, I think that's fine, right? That wouldn't be a big deal. But Night Models explicitly advertised this game to the Harry Potter minigame community, and they said that the models would be compatible. And as a result, people bought into the game based on that promise. They spent hundreds of dollars looking to acquire new skins for the Harry Potter minigame. They basically loaned Night Games a bunch of money based on lies. And that sort of dishonesty is honestly bewildering. And even if the scale of the minis had to be changed during the production process, sometimes this happens, they should have let backers know when that occurred. Now, many of those angry backers of the Harry Potter game have taken to the comments of the Batman Escape from Arkham Asylum game fan page to warn Batman mini game players that the Escape from Arkham minis might not be in scale with the Batman miniature game, as Night Models have promised the Batman mini game community. And their comments are apparently getting deleted. Yikes. Okay, so what does that mean for the Batman Escape from Arkham Asylum game? Is this the same thing again? Are Night Models lying? Well, Night Models actually responded to this. Apparently, all it took was like 3,000 people dropping their pledges. And Night Models posted this comparison picture to Facebook saying, quote, "As we have already officially announced, the miniatures of Batman Escape from Arkham Asylum have the same scale as the BMG miniature game. In this picture, you can see the comparison of the BEFAA prototypes with the Batman miniature game miniatures." Okay, so that's good, right? They've clarified that the minis will be the same scale. There's no way they'd just lie, right? They wouldn't just go on the internet and lie. Spoiler alert, they would 100% go on the internet and just lie. See, here's the thing. They said the exact same thing about the Catch the Snitch miniatures for Harry Potter. I am not kidding you. As you can see here in this production update number 1 of the Harry Potter board game, here are Night Games posting the following. "Good morning all. We would just like to clarify that the models' measurements have not been changed. As we said, the Kickstarter models will have the exact same scale as the Harry Potter Miniatures Adventure Game models. We can barely wait to show you the final models. We are sure they will not disappoint anyone." So yeah, I just wouldn't trust what Night Models say. They just can't be trusted. I hate to say it, but there you go. This is some pretty major red flags to anybody looking to crowdfund one of their projects. And though Night Models have now shown us pre-production models, that's all they are. Pre-production. They aren't finished pieces, and those models might not be representative of the final product that gets into backers' hands. So if it were me, if I had put money into this pledge, which I almost did, I'd be pulling my pledge right now because I wouldn't crowdfund a company that I couldn't trust. And I honestly don't think you can trust Night Models / Night Games or whatever they want to call themselves. Oh, and As for the Harry Potter folk, in the FAQ of the Kickstarter for the Harry Potter game, Night Games have committed to granting refunds up to 14 days after you receive the final product. So, you know, if you don't like what you got, go get that refund. And if they start refusing to refund folks, or they start to offer any sort of resistance, let me know about that. I really did not expect to be doing another video on night models after that last one anytime soon, but wow, who saw this coming? That video, by the way, can be found here. And a huge thanks to Sonic Bread and CryptoKev and to all my patrons. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.